Hey, this is MasterMcFailFace again, and today we'll be trying out the Stanley parable. See how this works. The end is never the end.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Hey, that's us.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427
Wow, that's quite a job.
Every day of every month of every year.
Oof.
And although others might have considered it soul-ending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Well, good job then, Stanley.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow.
It took you that long,
no
Stanley?
one showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong.
Clearly.
Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Oh, is this us? Oh, yep. Alright, let's see here. So, we can look around the room. We're 427, like it told us before. Alright. Let's wander around.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Lots of stuff on the floor, too. That's never a good sign. Oh, that mug says, "Be my Valentine." All right. Oh, look. There's somebody playing solitaire in there on their computer. It's a nice touch.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
All right, let's do it. Might as well. See what's going on here. So it's pretty uneventful so far.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Yeah.
Feeling a wave of disbelief,
Tips for
Stanley
not getting
decided
fired.
to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Go up to the boss's office. Oh, let's see what we got going on here. Do not alter without consulting whiteboard manager. Oh boy. Yep. That sounds like an office job, all right. Work harder, hard worker. It looks like teenagers are a very small percent of their demographic here. What do people want? Things. Money. More money. Things. But with money to buy more things? That's good stuff. It says, let's see, what's crossed out up there? It says happy feelings. They crossed it out and they wrote, "Mike James, you are fired." It's good times. Oh, man. Okay, let's keep going. Looks like they put a lot of work into the little tiny details. Broom closet. Take a look here. Oh, ow! Okay. Strong door.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Okay. Let's do it. Where are we going now?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay. Let's go. Go see the big boss. See what's going on. Maybe we got a raise. That sounds about right. Right? I mean, this seems like a situation where we get a raise or maybe a surprise party, right?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
I am stunned by that.
Unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
That's what you think.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
Yeah, sheer luck.
He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Ooh, that doesn't look so good. Well, looks like we don't have another option, so we're going to go ahead and go on through. It even sounds ominous now. You hear that like electrical hum? Yeah, it's a good touch. Kind of creepy. It's dark over here, so we're gonna go on over this way. I like the big red arrow there. That seems to be the thing we want to do. Seems like this elevator has seen better days.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar.
I do feel peculiar.
It was a stirring of emotion in his chest,
so
as though
emotional.
he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Yes, I feel so free as I'm listening to the narrator and doing everything he tells me to do. Oh, what's that? I don't know. Anyway.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Is it just me, or does this seem like it's probably a trap of some kind? And then there's this handwritten sign that says Escape. Let's go through here first and see what we can find. Maybe we'll come back. Wow, it's all dark. This is crazy.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Oh, I do. I totally do. We're gonna do this together, folks. What the heck are these TV monitors all about? That's so creepy. Cameras?
Now the monitors jumped to their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen.
Look at this. There's nobody here.
Eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
This must have taken forever to make. Holy cow, look at all these different rooms. Well done, developer. Whose name I should probably know. Look at that, a couple fired people.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible
so
to
many
believe
numbers.
It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control?
Oh, look at that one at 234.
Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Look, 234 is like these dots. We should go find that door and see what that's about. Maybe we can figure that out. 234.
No. He refused to believe it.
I
he
refuse.
Couldn't accept it.
I will not accept it.
In someone else's control? Never.
Never.
It was unthinkable.
Unthinkable.
Wasn't it?
Yes.
Was it even possible?
Nope.
Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Come on, man. Give me some credit.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
Okay,
for
sounds like a good idea.
Would dismantle the controls once and for all.
That sounds like a great plan. Mind controls idle, awaiting input. Alright, let's see what kind of input we can give this thing here. Well, let's go ahead and turn it off, see what happens. Ooh. I don't know if that's good or bad. Come on, Mr. Narrator, what's it going to be? Is it good or bad?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty.
I feel it.
Was it over? Yes.
Oh,
He
nice.
had won. He had defeated the machine.
Fantastic. 10 minutes in,
Unshackled
we
himself
defeated the
from
machine
someone
already.
else's command. Freedom was mere moments away.
Freedom!
And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved.
Oh, that's true.
Where had his co-workers gone?
Yeah, that's a good
How had
question.
he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge
Oh, we're
or
so
even
selfish.
power that he had been seeking, but happiness.
Ooh.
Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Well, we've come this far. Let's do it. Happiness awaits. Oh, it's nice out here. Look at this. These nice little stone walls and some trees. Oh, yeah.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin.
Ooh, it's nice.
The feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen.
Yay!
And Stanley was happy.
So happy. The end is never the end. Uh-huh. Well, this looks kind of familiar. Oh, but no. That this is not the same. It was like an office space before, an open office space. Where the heck did... Huh.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yeah, let's do that again. Let's see if this time we could not go to the boss's office. See what happens if we change that. From what I hear, there are a lot of different endings to this game.
Here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief,
Tips for not getting fired. Talk less. Don't get fired.
He might find an answer there.
Okay, Mr. Narrator, we are not going up to the boss's office, so don't get your heart set on
Coming
that.
to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Nope. See if this door is open. No. See if there's anything back here. Nope. Alright. Go into the creepy underbowels of the office now.
But Stanley
How did
just
this
couldn't do it.
car get here?
He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours.
That's creepy.
He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was
Why do
crazy.
the doors keep shutting behind
and then
us?
something occurred to Stanley.
Look at that.
Maybe,
We're locked in.
he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
It's
All
possible.
my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he
Yes,
went?
exactly.
And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This
What
can't
is with
be
these
real.
clocks?
And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue.
What?
He just hadn't found
Why
the
are the
words for
minutes
it.
different?
I'm
And why is it
dreaming,
B instead of 3?
he
What-
yelled. This
Oh,
is all
oh,
a
we're dreaming.
dream.
Okay. All right.
Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation.
Wait a minute.
His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all.
Ugh.
And
That
he thought
looked
to
very
himself,
similar. I
I
thought it
suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons.
Wait, what?
I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying.
All right.
He began to gently float.
We were
above the
totally...
ground.
Whoa, we're floating.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up.
Oh,
How was he
that's pretty
remaining
good.
so lucid?
Ugh.
And then perhaps the
I
strangest
know this is the
question
same
of them
room.
all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and
Very
thinking?
good question.
Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange.
How? We're going in a
Dreamed
circle
about
here.
the voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream.
That's
Did
right.
the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that?
That's
this voice
right.
was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up.
Wake up.
He felt
Come on,
the
Stanley.
cool weight of the blanket
Wake
on
up,
his
buddy.
skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one.
Ooh.
Let me wake up, he
Wake
thought
up.
to himself.
Come on, Stanley.
I'm through
Wake
with
up,
this
buddy.
dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please. It's all I
Poor
want.
Stanley.
I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Is this a self-help video? Oh, come on. Oh,
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I'm
Please.
real. I must be real.
Help.
I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I?
ah.
And everything went black.
Ooh.
This
Okay.
is the story of a woman named Mariella.
What? What happened to
Mariella
Stanley?
woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she
Oops.
would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in
Apparently
that
that's
moment,
us.
She thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
All right, I don't know exactly what just happened, but apparently it turns out we're crazy. And now we're back where we started, and the office is back. It looks like we're coming up about 20 minutes now, so it's a good time to stop. This is the Stanley Parable, and I'm your host, Master McFailFace. We might revisit this again later. It seems like there's probably a whole lot to do that we haven't done yet, so until next time, have a good one.